So today we're going to talk about James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Big Sue Potato Salad Soucek. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can go and do something else. But if you're going to stay and stick around, that's what we're going to be discussing. Because there's been a massive, I guess, piddling on the fireworks. So let's put it that way, because we're a daytime show, aren't we, really? As far as the James Ward-Prowse transfer, it just ain't going to happen. It looks that way anyway. And I think a certain piddling on the fireworks as far as us wanting to get rid of Thomas Soucek. Because I don't think there are any takers, quite frankly. I've seen his value sort of plummet. When the story, I don't know why I'm laughing either. When the story first came out that West Ham were willing to sell Thomas Soucek and we weren't going to offer him a new contract, there was that rumour that he'd sort of had a falling out with Moyes. Moyes didn't think he was worth the 120 grand apparently Soucek wanted. Soucek's on relatively low wages because he didn't get paid very much at Slavia Prague. He feels, particularly given his performances during his first season with us, his first 18 months, he deserves a pay rise. Moyes disagrees. Anyway, because of that, it was a case of the story seemed to be, we're selling Thomas Soucek. Spurs are interested at 45 million. Well, it appears Spurs weren't interested at all because they went and signed Satsuma. So that's not happening. And the 45 million, if you actually watch sort of like the history of the news story, it's gone. It's a bit like relisting something on eBay for sort of less each time, and it's gone to 40 million. It didn't even hit 35 million. It went to 30 million, 25, and now basically you can probably get him for 20 million. I don't know why I'm laughing at all. If you sort of want to skip to my conclusion at the end, is basically going to be, I don't think we're selling Thomas Soucek. I really don't. I think we're going to keep him. I think a compromise will probably be reached, because I can understand why Thomas Soucek is not particularly alluring to a lot of clubs. But I also want to talk about James Ward-Prowse because he don't want to come to West Ham, and we've been here before. In case you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is my mate Marcus. This is from his stag do, which we had a few weeks ago. He's getting married on Saturday, so just in case, he's a Crystal Palace fan. Probably won't watch this, but just in case he does, I thought it might be nice for him to see a nice picture of himself before he gets married on Saturday. There we go. Anyway, so James Ward-Prowse has said. Listen to this. He's not said, these are quotes, basically. A source close to James Ward-Prowse has basically said his family are extremely happy in Hampshire, which is obviously where he lives, and where Southampton is, funnily enough. It's handy that for him, I guess. They've learned a player is very settled on the south coast. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, let's be fair, it is a nice place to live. A source close, well, I've done that bit. His family extremely happy, and his young son has just started at a good school rather than a bad school. You don't want to send your son to a bad school. I mean, this is a good enough reason not to move, particularly if you're already a millionaire. I mean, that would do me. If I was happy where I lived, my son had just started a new school. I don't know. I'd probably, if I didn't have an affiliation to West Ham, which he doesn't. Anyway, it says the couple and the little one have a great house in the New Forest, in wonderful surroundings. It is very, very nice in the New Forest. See, basically, sources have it that he isn't interested in a move to a bigger club. Well, I guess you could argue whether West Ham are a bigger club. I guess we are a bigger club than Southampton, a little bit. The 27-year-old is content to see out his existing contract with the Saints. I think once his existing contract runs out, he's probably going to be 32. I don't think he's getting another move. That's fine. It's Matt Letizia-itis. That's what he's got. He's happy where he is. I absolutely get it. What did accompany the article was a lovely, lovely picture, which I'll try and pop up there or something like that, of Ward-Prowse, who has got wonderful hand-eye coordination. I can't quite work out what's happening in the picture. He's either throwing his, I guess that's his son, he's either throwing his child away, saying, get away, go away, and his wife, or daughter, is laughing, he's throwing it, which I think makes him a bad father, quite frankly, or he's a hero, and maybe the child fell from a helicopter. He was just lining up to take a set play. He looked up at the sky, bang, caught chart. What a chance of it. Magnificent. Heroic stuff, really. Anyway, that's James Ward-Prowse. He ain't interested in coming. However, if you are curious about who wants to come to West Ham, then you can find out by clicking that link below and downloading the OneFootball app, because the OneFootball app is your one-stop shop for all your footballing needs, and in particular West Ham needs. Click a QR code if you want up there. I don't know how you do it, but give it a go anyway. What the OneFootball app does is when you sign up and when you load it up to your phone, you say, I support West Ham. It takes all the West Ham news from all the newspapers, all the websites, and puts them all into one place for you. Transfer news, injury news, hopefully not too much of that, fixtures, friendlies, just everything you need to. Go and download the OneFootball app. Please use the link below. I know you come from West Ham. They might sponsor us again in the future. There we go. So anyway, on to Thomas Potato Salad Soucek. He's a bit like Liam Neeson in Taken, isn't he? You know, he's got a very particular set of skills. A bit like me. I've got mine are mostly sort of eating and farting, really, which is what I put on my Tinder profile. Not had an awful lot of traffic, if I'm honest. I might change it, might write something different. Maybe you've got a particular set of skills. I'd be very interested to hear about them, actually. But Thomas Soucek's particular set of skills don't really include sort of passing or ball control and stuff like that, really. Pace. So I'd imagine it's quite difficult for him to be attractive to an awful lot of clubs, unless sort of Sam Allardyce gets back into a job, or Sean Dyche, or Tony Pulis. I mean, that'd be all over Soucek. Maybe we get £40 million for him then. But in terms of sort of the modern day way the game is played, there's very few teams that would play to Thomas Soucek's strengths. Like, if he goes for a job interview, they'll be, looking at the CV and I say, so Thomas, how's the passing? He'll be saying, not so good on the passing, I'm afraid. Ball control, not so much. Running, I run a lot, slowly. What can you do? I can head the ball. I mean, I can really, really head the ball, and I can score goals. Well, and he can head the ball, and he can score goals, and he can tackle, and he's got a work rate like you wouldn't believe. And he actually has an awful lot of attributes that in many respects. The one manager I look at in the Premier League, who I think Thomas Soucek will really suit this guy, is David Moyes. I just don't think he's a defensive midfielder, but he did a pretty damn good job last season. There's got to be a compromise there. Look, if we're struggling to get a central midfielder, and I think we still should, let's be fair, Alex Crowell wasn't wanted, didn't get used, Mark Noble's retired. Did you hear the story about Cullen coming back? Can you imagine? Anyway, we don't know if Connor Coventry's going to be used. We need another central midfielder, but we know Soucek's pedigree. He scored lots of goals for West Ham. He can do so again. He could be really, really effective for us, but he just needs to be put in the right position. And I suspect maybe just not played all the time. See, it's a bit of a funny one. There's a bit of a contradiction here with Soucek, because whilst the story is that Moyes doesn't see him as part of the future, doesn't rate him, whatever it is, he was rested hardly at all. Clearly David Moyes actually trusts him. So I don't know how much that story is true. Probably the truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle, which is Moyes thinks, well, he's not probably worth 125 grand a week, but if he sort of not just stays on the contract that he's on, or just, I don't know, extend it by a year or two, give him another 20 grand a week. I don't know. I mean, it's not my job. I don't do these things, do I? But surely there's a compromise there, because I think he's a really important player for us. In terms of James Ward-Prowse, I'm not losing any sleep over it. I mean, I would have been pleased to get him. I absolutely would. I think if David Moyes has highlighted him, and we are a team that likes set plays, and he's the best at it. I understand the reason that we'd go and get him. I think he's a decent player, but it's fine. If we've got a finite budget and he was going to cost 70-odd million, then, sort of forget it, really. We don't have that sort of money, and that's fine, that's understandable. The one thing I hope we don't do, though, is repeat that mistake that I alluded to at the start of this video, which is carry on chasing a player who clearly doesn't want to come to West Ham. Respect him. Respect any man that can catch a baby that's fallen out of a helicopter, let's be fair. But respect a man who's saying he's happy where he lives. The little one's looks too young to be at school. Anyway, the little one's joined a good school. He's happy at the club. If he lives in the middle of the New Forest, which, let's be fair, there's not a lot, mostly ponies in the New Forest, right? There's not an awful lot there. He probably don't want to move to the city. He probably don't want to move to Canary Wharf. He's lived in the countryside all his life. So, I mean, do you know what? I think just draw a line under it. Let's not try and convince him that he wants to come to West Ham. He clearly doesn't. Move on to one of the other targets, like Basuma. Anyway, actually, no. Thinking about that, I really do look at that Basuma one. I think the reason David Moyes didn't want to. I'll leave you a final thought. Actually, I never leave you a final thought. So I think the reason Moyes didn't go for Basuma was because he's got this court case pending. Because basically, I mean, like, he may be guilty, he may be innocent. But it's going to be one of the two, isn't he? Let's be fair. And I just think Moyes is looking at it thinking, this is more trouble than I need. You know, the Moyes MOT. So here's the final question. I'd prefer to hear about your special set of skills, in all honesty. But final question is, if Moyes knew what he knew now about basically Kurt Zouma, and when I say that, I mean the fact that he's been arrested, he's been charged, and he's doing community service and whatever he's doing, picking up litter. If he knew that now, do you think he would go in and buy Zouma now? I don't think he would. I think Zouma has failed the Moyes MOT, but there's nothing he can do about it because he's already signed him.